guys, so today I thought I'd do kind of a very dramatic nighttime purpley look, and then using kind of purpley grays on the eyes and then quarter purple tones all over the face. So I just wanted to try something a little different. So first of all, I'm going to take, I already have Urban Decay Primer Potion in Sin on. I'm going to take my Maybelline Color Tattoo in Too Cool, which is the white. So I'm taking this, I'm going to use this over, whoop, bit excessive with that. I'm going to use it over like 3/4 of my eye. I don't need to use it in the corner as much, because black will go there. I just took a big chunk on my finger, didn't I? And then I'm going to try to apply it under my lashes. Lower lashes too. So the first color I'm going to take is Loreal Illumination Loose Eye Color in Highlight Reflex, which is just a white. So any white will do. Actually, I'm going to do the same thing I did on my other eye. I guess the first color I'm going to take is Chanel's Illusion d'Ombre in illusoir, which is a taupey purple gray. I'm taking a 266 and I'm going to wet the brush. I kind of pool water on my desk and then I just pick up the water and then the product. So you build it on the brush a little bit. I'm going to put this in the outer half. There we go. And now we're going to use a 213, which is just my normal eye brush, really. I'm using the same color and putting it halfway across on the top part of our eye. Alright, and now I'm going to take that white color. This kind of helps blend the white over top because this white is going to blend better if I do the purple first. So now I'm going to take the white on a 226 and blend it, put it under my eye, under my lower lash line, and I'm going to just build it up over that other color. So the other color peeks underneath and they blend together. Now I'm going to take that 213 brush again. And build up the color on the front part of my eye, blending it over the middle. You're going from an extreme white to an extreme black, but that purpley tone adds a bit of kind of a mysterious flair to it. Instead of doing just black, gray, and white, you're really adding a different color to that that's unexpected. It's still kind of a grayish purple because it's taupey gray purple, but it looks very nice together. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about this look. I usually say that because I just kind of on a whim decide to try things. And sometimes you try things and you're just like, okay, not doing that ever again. Okay. Oh, I suppose I should probably tell you. I'm using Mirifique Illusion d'Ombre. This is the really sparkly, beautiful Chanel shade on a 219. So this I'm just putting in that outer corner and then to build up my wing. Alright. Now I can take the 266 and picking up just a tiny bit of that black, and I'm going to smudge it into my lower lash. It is on the outer third. It just kind of builds up so that it's not such a strange variation between the two. Now I'm taking my 224. I'm going to use this to blend those colors together in that crease. And also make sure there's no thick lines. You can kind of play around with the color. I definitely last time put more of the illusior. So I'm going to just quickly build a little bit more of that up in the middle of my eye. With any eye look, you kind of play around, make sure you're comfortable with how each eye should match. And when you blend them, they're not going to be super startling, stark, white, black. It just blends together really nicely. And these are very blendable. They lose their shimmer a bit when you blend them, but it's still really pretty. So now I'm going to take and do a second coat of mascara because my shadows are done. I've already done one coat of mascara. So I'm doing one more of Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill mascara. This is what the bristle looks like. I'm just doing another coat of that. Okay. And while we wait for that to dry, I'm going to go on to my cheeks. And I'm using, because I wanted a purpler tone, I'm using Briar Rose Beauty Powder. This is kind of a magenta plum color. It's showing up pretty true to shade, actually. So it's definitely a pink toned purple, which is what I was going for. Because I didn't want something too dramatic and competing, but I think sometimes with lips and cheeks, you don't want them to disappear with your look. A smoky eye and a nude lip can be really nice, but it can also make sure that you kind of want to complement all. Like, your nude lip shouldn't disappear either and look like you did nothing. Alright, so at least that's my theory, obviously. 130 brush with my Dior Amber Diamond. I'm going to use this to highlight my cheekbones. And you can touch up under your eyes. I feel like these don't have a lot of fallout, so I don't have to touch up usually. Sometimes after I do a smoky eye, it's just, especially like mineralized powders, and I'm just using that 224 to take my Dior Amber Diamonds on my brow bones. Sometimes I feel like if I, forgetting what I'm saying, of course. Oh, if I do like a mineralized powder, I have to definitely touch up under my eyes because they become much more about fallout, and like especially the darker shades make me look like I just have dark circles under my eyes. Alright, so now I can go through and curl my lashes again. My little strip in my eyelash curler is popping up a lot. Woo! Alright, now that that's done, I can go through and do my liquid eyeliner on top using Maybelline Line Stiletto. And I'm doing a fairly thick line. I usually do a very thin line, especially with liquid, because I can be more precise, so it allows me to do a light line. This time I went with a thicker line to make it even more dramatically nighttime. And this gives my lashes a really good base. Ooh. lash base, the better off your lashes will look towards the end of the night. Okay. And now you just want to make sure your wings are even, obviously, things like that. So that looks good. I'm going to take my lashes, which are from Lash Perfect. They're the Demi Wispies. I'm going to use glue on them. I'm using the Revlon Lash Precision Glue, which comes with the little brush. I'm not huge on the brush. It does help keep like a huge clump of it from coming out like the squeezy tubes. But the formula is just perfect. A lot of people rave about the glue in the tube because it's sold at Sephora, at MAC, you know. It's really everywhere. I don't actually like it because it does seem like my lashes will pop up in the corner. This makes sure they don't. They stay. I'm going to let that get tacky first, which you have to do with any lash glue. I'm going to use Bobbi Brown Black Ink, and I'm using this on a Sonia Cusack angled brush, and I'm going to use this on my waterline, lower and upper. This is just something I can do quick enough that the lash glue won't dry, but it takes just enough time for it to get tacky. So I kind of try to be time efficient, so I'm not just sitting here waiting for glue to become tacky, which is kind of like waiting for paint to dry. I rarely don't line my waterline. And I've been using gel, which I really like because it lasts much longer than I feel like liner does. Even my like long-wearing liners. Trying to find my tweezers. Oh, they're behind my camera. Now I can take those lashes. And I'm going to pop these so that the outer ones go to the very corner. And then the rest all falls into place. And you kind of pat it down so that they don't flip up. Okay. And it's always the inner corners I have problems with. My outer corners almost never pop up unless it's like a very dramatic lash. For like Halloween, I've had ones where they're so stiff that they just literally both corners just keep popping up because they can't bend to the eye. And that's good for that part. And the very last step for eyes is Maybelline Lots of Lashes Great Lash Mascara. And it's a little cone spool brush. And I use this on my lower lashes. There we go. Oopsies. I've been really bad with like mascara hitting my skin. So like up here I had dots earlier and down here now, and just gotta fix them as you go. So the very last step is gonna be lips. I have just a chapstick on, but I'm gonna use Up the Amp Amplified lipstick, which is a very purple. On some people it definitely looks pinker. On some people it looks purpler. Me, it kind of looks more purple. But I felt like this would be a good color. And then Butterfly Dream plushglass from MAC, which is a purple, but it's so sheer. It's not going to add much color, but it's going to plump the lips. Which is what MAC plush glasses do. And this is going to be the final look. So it is purple toned without being over the top purple toned. It's still going to be heavy lined eyes for going out at night. I'm going to pop this up so I can actually sit up. So much better. And I'm wearing a red dress, so I was thinking of doing red lips, and I just kind of wanted to do something different. Like, since it's not super purple, it's not competing, but it's also not matching to my outfit, which is what I usually do. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!